Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, aka Mazuma TV, back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. I hope y'all had a great day overall, man. I'm tapping in with y'all to speak about what's currently going on in the boxing world. We got hit with some breaking news that Vasil Lomachenko has officially retired from the sport of boxing, man. We're going to get into that. Keyshawn Davis pressing Abdullah Mason at their final press conference early on today. Now we're going to talk about Teofimo Lopez manager confirming Teofimo ducking Devin Haney for personal reasons. You see what I'm saying? Then, of course, we're going to get into some open boxing topics as always. But before we get into that, please hit the like button, man. Let's get the algorithm on the up so that people know that Mazuma TV is live. Shout out to everybody that's in the comments so far. We only got 2 so far. Shout out to the boy Forever Dedicated. He said, Mazuma, do you think you the villain of the YTBC? For those of y'all who don't know what the YTBC is, it's the YouTube boxing community. You're now beefing with Southpaw, H Money Boxing, KO86, T.O. Senior. But like you said, this all games, internet not real, all of it just fun, nothing beef. Shout out to Forever Dedicated. I mean, I don't look at myself as like a bad guy. You feel what I'm saying? That's just not who I am. But if I have a difference in opinion than anybody else, you know, it is what it is. And if people want to take it personal, it is what it is. You know, I'm seeing people saying that they got to address me personally and we got to do a little bit of straightening. Nigga, try and straighten shit out with me, fuck around, get you bent, nigga. So, you know what I mean? And ain't no straightening, ain't no such thing as straightening shit out over the internet. You feel me? So if niggas want to straighten shit out, like I said, I ain't hard to find from where I be at if it's that serious. But I don't consider myself no villain at all, man. Listen, this shit just boxing talk. This shit is just YouTube to me. You know what I mean? I got a whole different life outside of this motherfucking internet. And that's what I consider my real life. You know what I mean? On here, this is just like a side quest for me. You feel what I'm saying? But I rock with the nation heavy. You know what I'm saying? I don't take none of these YouTube dudes personal because at the end of the day, I'm probably never going to see these dudes a day in my fucking life. So what's the point of even investing energy into these dudes? And maybe I am a bad guy, but I've always, throughout my life, been the bad guy to the bad people. You feel me? I've only ever been the bad guy to the bad person. Just saying. Shout out to Simba Boxing in the building. I don't know how to pronounce that. Eid Mubarak to all my Muslims around the world. Yeah, salute to the Muslims out here. Salute. I got a lot of good friends of mine that are Muslim. Shout out to my boy Pierre. Shout out to my boy Derek, the maestro. I mean, I got some great Muslim friends, man. Some of the best people I know. Shout out to the boy Pedro Anales. He said, "Yo, Mazuma, I'm sad. Loma, no more." You know that's gonna come in time. See, and it is an upsetting thing. Like when Andre Ward retired, I was genuinely upset. You know what I mean? Things of that nature. It is an upsetting thing, but you know, these things are bound to happen. You feel what I'm saying? This is just what comes with life. You know, that's gonna get to a point where you retire from whatever your craft is. You know, people that you look up to, they get old, man. Time flies, bro. And especially in boxing. Boxing, like I said, is a small window. And, you know, if they don't retire on top like Lomachenko did, they pretty much forced to retire. That's just how the way the game go. Shout out to the boy Coffee Plant in the building, man. I'm chilling. I'm maintaining, brother. I hope you're doing the same. Salute to the boy Coffee Plant. He said Mazuma is the best. Shout out to the boy Pedro Anales. My boy over here, illiterate, but he getting his point across. You feel me? Nigga said, I love you. You don't know me to love me, brother. Let's not go too far. Yeah, I mean, but I appreciate you, brother. Let's just say that. I appreciate you showing me love and always being positive. Shy Rider, West Sider, what's going on, brother? He says, salute from the Shy. How do you see Mason Keyshawn about going? I mean, we're going to get into that, brother. I want to save that for the end of the live, in all honesty, because I think I have a different take in comparison to everybody else. You feel me? Yeah, he talking about he loved me and shit. That's weird, bro. I only want to ever hear that from, like, family members of my girl. I mean, I don't want to hear that from no man on YouTube. You feel me? But, you know, it's cool. You know what I mean? Some people are more open with expressing their feelings than others. You feel me? That's just not my thing. I told my son I love him. I told my father I love him. My girl, I tell her I love her. My mom, you know, shit like that. This nigga Regan on my nerves. Re annoying as shit. He always want to hit me up when I'm busy. Shout out to the boy Anonymous in the building. What's going on, brother? Let's get into the boxing talk, man. Fuck it, man. We 5 minutes in. You know what I mean? Shout out to the 7 people that's in the building. Y'all go ahead, hit the likes, man. Let's hit the likes. You feel me? Let's talk about, depending on how you perceive Vasil Lomachenko, it could be good news, it could be bad news, or you could just be neutral about it. Vasil Lomachenko, according to the Ring magazine, has officially announced his retirement. And I think Vasil Lomachenko actually put out, a video as well, just addressing, his retirement and stuff like that. Let's actually play Vasil Lomachenko's video. I've seen people making fun of him and shit like that. I'm like, bro, first of all, he can't. He's a fucking English not his first language, so of course he's not going to speak it that well. You feel me? But let me see. Where he at? Where his video at? And look, man, it's gonna be sad for some people. You feel me? Because Vasil Lomachenko, was a part of a lot of fights. You feel what I'm saying? That people really tuned in and watched. Like his fight with Devin Haney, that was a fight that a lot of people was looking forward to seeing and watched. And that was a controversial fight. Back during the pandemic when he fought Teofimo Lopez, that was a fight that that a lot of people was tuned into as well. Let's actually hear his video.
First and foremost, I want to thank our Lord Jesus Christ for everything He has done for me, for guiding a prideful young man down a path that ultimately showed me that fame, legacy, and recognition are not the true purpose of life. I'm grateful for every victory and every defeat, both in the ring and in the life. I'm thankful that as my career comes to an end, I've gained clarity about the direction a person must take in order to achieve true victory. Not just...
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't trying to hear this shit, bro.
В жизни любого боксера наступает момент, когда он вешает перчатки на грудь.
Yeah, I ain't about to be listening to that whole thing. That shit kind of a struggle to listen to be honest with you. Yeah, but we pretty much got the gist of what Vasil Lomachenko was saying. But let's go back to Ring magazine. You feel what I mean? And get into this report right here, man. You feel what I'm saying? Vasil Lomachenko, according to the Ring magazine, has now officially announced his retirement from boxing at the age of 37. The Ukrainian legend went 396-1 as an amateur, winning 2 Olympic gold medals before turning professional and becoming a 3-weight world champion and pound-for-pound star. That's some sad news. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, Vasil Lomachenko was part of some, big moments in this era of boxing. You feel what I'm saying? Like his run was absolutely incredible. He lost his second pro fight to Orlando Salido, but then he went and he defeated a fucking a gifted fighter in Gary Russell Jr. You feel what I'm saying? At his peak at 126 pounds. He went on and he defeated some fighters that I was big fans of. I ain't gonna lie to you. I loved it. It broke my heart watching him defeat Nicholas Walters because, I was a big Nicholas Walters fan at the time, bro. I absolutely love his style and what he brought to the table. You know what I'm saying? And, I was a big Guillermo Rigondeaux fan as well. And he made both of those guys quit. You feel what I'm saying? So both of those situations right there, man, it made me really dislike Vasil Lomachenko at the time. But at the same time, I was very I did admire his abilities. You know what I'm saying? He had some quick hands, good combinations. He was a precise puncher as well. His angles, of course, was his bread and butter. And he was an offensive machine, man. And it's almost like he got stronger as the rounds went on. And he gave everybody a tough fight. Even if you defeated him, you wasn't walking out of that fight unscathed or, feeling like it was easy work. And that goes for all 3 guys that, defeated Vasil Lomachenko. Orlando Salido, he was pretty much holding on for dear life at the end of the fight. You know what I'm saying? And that was an inexperienced Vasil Lomachenko, professionally at the time. Yo. You hear me? All right, let's get him out of here. Yo.
You can hear me?
Yeah, you got two Jones. Hold on, you got two Jones that popped up. Let me get
Yeah,
rid
my
of
bad.
one.
That's I started with one with the StreamYard app, then I came on my browser because that one it was choppy. But how you doing, bro?
Or I'm doing well. Yeah, I was just speaking of Vasil Lomachenko retiring. But what I was gonna say was every even in the fights that he came up short and he gave them guys a run for their money. Like I said with Orlando Salido, he was holding off. He barely made it out of that. He had a tough time getting up out of that fight. Teofimo Lopez, he dominated initially, but still started picking it up at the end. It's a little too late, but he gave Teofimo a tough, ending of that fight. And the same thing went for Devin Haney, in my opinion. Vasil Lomachenko, he was a tough outing for just about anybody. He had dog. His conditioning was good. And for him being a smaller guy and being able to do what he did at lightweight, I always thought that was impressive. Like the dude used to look like he was bloated on the scale and still give motherfuckers work. You feel me? So Vasil Lomachenko, man, definitely a legend, especially from an amateur aspect, man. They threw him to the wolves early on in his career. He was able to prevail and, have some notable wins, man. Like he had some exciting fights as well that I'm gonna always remember. How he got up off of the canvas against, Jorge Linares, the Luke Campbell fight, Jose Pedraza. Like I said, he defeated two of my favorite fighters at different points in time with Nicholas Walters and Guillermo Rigondeaux. Made both of them quit and pretty much derailed both of their careers, to be honest with you. And then, of course, he finished his career with defeating a former unified champion and, George Kambosos. And, we already had an idea that what he was going to do, because after the George Kambosos fight, he said that he was going to retire then, but his dad had pretty much persuaded him to fight George Kambosos. So he ended up leaving the sport with a world title. You feel what I mean? He wasn't able to obtain like his goal of becoming undisputed. However, he won multiple world titles throughout multiple divisions. So that's a career that was pretty good. 18-3. He did pretty well, man. You know what I'm saying? And I see people saying Vasil Lomachenko was overrated and shit like that. I'm not going to necessarily say that he was overrated, but I do think that there was a lot of like praise behind him. So I think his career overall, I'm gonna say it was underwhelming. That's what I'm gonna say. What's your take on that, Marky?
No, I agree with you. That's what I would classify it. Not overrated, but underwhelming. Because Lomachenko, even though I don't agree with Bob's initial promotion of him that he's better than Ali, he's better than Floyd, he's better than Leonard. I do agree he is one of the most talented guys to ever set foot in the ring, at least in the last probably 10 or 15 years. Lomachenko, what he did coming from the amateurs at 30 years old, he got straight into the smoke. Okay, two fights in, he was fighting Orlando Salido, and that's a tough customer for anybody. And then, the Teofimo Lopez fight, I mean, that to me that's the fight that's always gonna live with him, cause that's the guy. I think he really, once he figured out To, that was an easy fight for him. Like from round 7 through or round 6 through 11, that was easy work for Lomachenko. And then he just let off the gas in the 12th round. Like that's what you saw him do against Devin Haney. That's what you saw him do against Orlando Salido for the large part of the fight, even though he was nut punching him the whole fight. And then that's the part where when he loses those fights and you look directly at those rounds, that's something you could say about him. He didn't finish fights well or well enough. So his career is what it is. I still think he's I don't know if he's first ballot, but I think he's a Hall of Famer. The man was a unified champ. At one point in time, everybody was calling him Lomachenko. Was saying he was the best pound for pound fighter in the world in some people's opinions. So yeah, just absolute credit to Loma. I ain't got no problems or nothing really bad to say about him because he tried to fight everybody he could in his career.
That's a fact. He was definitely looking for the smoke, especially at 130, and
The
he
man
got
name
it.
was Lomachenko. What's
Yeah,
nobody
and
trying to get in there?
man, like I said, he broke my heart on multiple occasions, bro. So, you know, you got to give him kudos for that, man. I could sit here and just be hating on him because of what he did to fighters that, you know, I, you know, favored and stuff like that. But, you know, them guys that I favored with some bad motherfuckers, pause, like Nicholas Walters at his peak, he was a fucking monster. You feel what I'm saying? And I was
Loma made him retire.
Yeah.
He retired in the middle of his peak. Ain't nobody seen him since.
He actually came back. He did a couple pro box fights, but he just quit his last fight. So he quit again. But regardless, and you know, he did the same thing with Guillermo Rigondeaux's career and never really bounced back how it should have after the Vasyl Lomachenko fight neither. So, you know, those were both my guys. You feel what I'm saying? And when I seen what he did with both of them, I'm like, yo, this motherfucker, bro, like he just keep like he fucking up my roster of like favorite fighters. So I remember that the most about Vasyl Lomachenko.
Not only that, Floyd had the shoulder roll. Loma had to step to the side. Like that matrix step, that's one of the craziest, coldest, nastiest moves we really seen in years. And you see young dudes coming up behind Loma like Bam Rodriguez. He got the little step to the side, and a lot of other southpaws. Because Loma, that matrix stuff was real. It was like he was like dudes would say it was like they was getting jumped. Like he would just teleport behind them. So absolutely, man.
Well, he wasn't. I'm gonna say this: he wasn't the first one to do that, but he may have been the most influential fighter to do that. Because a lot of people, because I used to chop it up with my homies and stuff, and they were like, "Yeah, man, I'm trying to learn the angles like Loma," and I would show them and shit like that. But I'm like, "Yo, let me show y'all what the fuck was his name? Was it Orlando Cervantes or some shit like that? Might have it wrong, but he was a beast, bro. Like his angles." Let me see if I got this shit right. Damn, I'm probably fucking up his name. But
wait, did he fight that?
Shit. Let me see. No, it's Orlando Canizales. They both were beasts with the angles. So for those of y'all who never seen, like there's people that's on YouTube saying he had the craziest footwork of all time and stuff like that. I like to give credit to Orlando Canizales. You feel what I'm saying? But like I said, Vasyl Lomachenko was the one that made it. Like, you know, he was more influential with it because I guess he was the more popular fighter. And there was people making a case that Vasyl Lomachenko was pound for pound #1 at one point in time. I disagree with it. But it was all over. Like ESPN had him ranked pound for pound #1. Bob Arum was saying he the greatest fighter he had since Ali. You know, like stuff like that. There was a lot of hype behind him. You know what I'm saying? So he had a good career, man. He definitely had a good career. And a lot of people saying, damn, he only had 21 fights. I'm like, yeah, in the pros he had about 20.
But who did he fight in them 21? Ain't like he like it ain't even
That's,
like he got 5
point.
or 6 bums on his record. He don't got 5 bums on his record.
That's one point. But he also had 400 amateur fights. That's a lot of fucking wear and tear, bro. Like that. If you do 400 amateur fights, I don't really expect you to have that many professional fights, bro. That wear and tear, a motherfucker, that's gonna catch up to you. And Loma had injury after injury after injury. You feel what I'm saying? Like I recall him getting surgery multiple times, and them saying that he had some type of back issue, and you know, like, bro, that wear and tear done caught up to him. His body's a lot older than 37 years old. Let's just say that. But congratulations to Vasyl Lomachenko on retiring. At least he retired on top. That's a positive that you can honestly say, because there are a lot of fighters, legends that get forced to retire, unfortunately. And that might just happen to Manny Pacquiao. You feel me? Like these things happen to legends all the time, where they walk out the game willingly, like Lennox Lewis. Then we get ones that's forced to retire, like Zab Judah. Like these things happen. You feel me? So congratulations to Vasyl Lomachenko, man.
A big reason I think Loma's retiring right now is the Russians, they're about to start their summer offensive into Ukraine. So I think he wants to have his boots on the ground and to have everything situated over there. I think he's just done with boxing at this point, because it's like it's not that important when you really put it all in perspective for him. But absolutely what you said. Salute to him and congrats on retiring and a great career. And just go handle your business over there.
Yeah, that's a sad situation too. Cause I know he was There was a point in time where he wasn't going to come back for a while because he was over there, looking after his family and shit like that. So, yeah, I hope that all goes over well, and hopefully, he doesn't fall victim to that whole situation. That's ridiculous, bro. You know what I'm saying? That whole situation is ridiculous, but it is what it is. So what we would, let's address the state.
Man, you know what we talking about next. Stop it.
I want to save that for the end. We talking about it. I want to say that for the end. No, we don't. Come on, Marky. You know better than that. We don't avoid shit over here. I want to get into this. I want to see what Keith Connolly, Teofimo Lopez manager had to say, regarding Teofimo Lopez walking away from the fight. And I've seen guys like Punch Drunk Boxing where, he wants to call Teo a duck. You could tell. But like with him being his homie and shit like that, he trying to hold off and give him the benefit of the doubt. He pretty much feeling the pressure like, come on, Teo. You got to make something happen. Well, I feel like this right here is a nail in the coffin because now we got Teofimo Lopez manager speaking for him in this situation where he could easily speak for himself. And it goes as such. He starts off by saying, unfortunately, Teo won't be fighting in August for personal reasons that I will keep confidential. We want to thank His Excellency for the opportunity and everything he has done for Teo. We planned on fighting, but with what was going on, he wanted to make sure he was 100% right mentally and physically, and August was just too quick of a turnaround. I expect Teo to be back later this year, bigger and better than ever. I'm gonna mute you, Marky.
Oh, my bad.
No, you good. So that's Teofimo Lopez manager Keith Connolly's statement in regards to Teofimo Lopez and what he has going on. So they were saying, this is why I don't listen to Tim Bradley. You feel what I'm saying? This is exactly why I don't listen to Tim Bradley. And I be telling motherfuckers, man, Tim Bradley does not stand up for what's right. He stands up for what he feel or what he's told is beneficial for top-ranked boxing. You feel what I'm saying? He's a company man. He does whatever he can to try to make him
the fucking gook
or to make Top Rank look good or people that's associated with Top Rank look good. You feel what I'm saying? Tim Bradley was going around saying how, man, they got to be more. He was pretty much saying there got to be more money in the pot. Oh, everybody and their mom giving Teofimo Lopez the benefit of the doubt, the same benefit of the doubt that they would never give Devin Haney if the roles was reversed, right or wrong. Come on. So the manager, Keith Connolly, just sit here and confirm that, no, this ain't Teo playing no mind games. No, this ain't Teo waiting out to try to see if he's going to get more money. No, Teofimo Lopez got some personal issues going on in his life right now where he's not going to be able to return in August because that is not enough time for him to come back into boxing. It's too quick of a turnaround. He fought in May. Fighting in August is too much. Not for Devin Haney, who signed the dotted line, but Teofimo Lopez because he got some shit going on. You feel what I'm saying? But it's just so funny because if he had so much shit going on, why did he agree to the terms? Why did he sit here and go through the whole negotiation process with Devin Haney? According to Dan Rayfield, this is not my words. These are his. And from what I understand, Dan Rayfield, been around the game for a long time. He's speaking to people behind the scenes, and they said that the terms were agreed to. They agreed to the catch weight of 145 pounds. They agreed for it to be in Riyadh. They agreed on several things. Oh, shit. Hold on. He dipped. You good? You good, Marky? All right. So pretty much they agreed to multiple things. Why was there a negotiation? Why was there even a whole process of negotiating a fight with Devin Haney August 16th if it was too quick of a turnaround for you? Why agree to terms with Devin Haney for a fight on August 16th if you had some personal shit going on and you're not capable of fighting that month? Bro, miss me with the bullshit. You feel what I'm saying? He didn't bring when he did that Punch Drunk interview. He didn't mention him having no personal issues. He didn't mention August being too quick of a turnaround. He sat here and told you that $11 million is not enough for him to sell. He won't sell his soul for $11 million. That's what he said. Right? But we seen him ask for $10 million for Devin Haney before. They offer him 11, and that's still not enough. So how is 10 million, something you wanted with Devin Haney in the past? Now they offer you 11, and that's not enough. They giving you $1 million more than what you asked for previously. You feel what I'm saying? So this whole shit right here is a joke, man. Keep Connolly pretty much trying to do some damage control or whatever the fuck they got going on over there, and we not believing it. We really not. It just make guys like Tim Bradley, and I'm scrolling through Twitter, just being extremely disappointed with these people's takes, man. They really trying to sit here and act like y'all remember when Kanye was out here wilding, saying all this crazy shit, and it was like, man, y'all don't understand Kanye, man. Y'all don't understand Kanye. He did this because of this, man. Yeah, y'all gotta read between the lines, man. He a genius. Whole time Kanye West crashing the fuck out in front of our very eyes, making crazy mistakes in front of our very eyes. But they want to play it out like he's some type of genius when the whole time this dude has serious
just like our
he's not
goddamn president. Nah, just like our goddamn president. I mean, this motherfucker, his father was a KKK member. The motherfucker actually tried to get 5 black children executed for a rape they didn't commit. But all these niggas out here like to talk about Emmett Till. I mean, that's just the world we live in. We have stupid fucking people. And unfortunately, they have access to internet.
Yeah, bro. And this is what I say all the time, bro. They need to stop giving bro. I feel like having a podcast should be a privilege, not a right. You feel me? Like they really sit here and be creating these podcasts and just be spewing the most dumbest shit in the world. Just forcing the dumbest narratives, and they want they really be believing the bullshit. Like I'm scrolling through social media, bro. I'm scrolling on X, and I'm seeing people saying, "Oh no, man, we gotta hold out before we just call T.O. a duck, man. Maybe he's fooling the public." Well, Keith Connolly must be fooling the fucking public too.
I think we should go farther. Mazuma. I don't think some of these people should be allowed to reproduce. I think they should be sterilized.
Yo, some real shit they shouldn't, because if they like that, imagine what their kids gonna be like.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we need to get rid of that whole bloodline. Get rid of the whole bloodline. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Thanos was on to something, bro. I think that motherfucker Thanos was on to something, bro.
I agree. Because some of these people are just dumb.
J Cash said podcast equipment need to be more expensive. Facts. Blind leading the blind. That's what Alda Powell said. That's facts.
But let me quickly touch on T.O. if you got all your takes out. I mean, I'm not surprised by nothing in this situation. Bud showed you. T.O.'s a fucking punk. He's a punk. He let that man walk up and put his whole arm around him like he was his woman. And he said, "Tell him what you told me. Tell him what you told me." That looked like a prison situation. T.O.'s a punk in real life. Like we just gotta call it like it is. This man let his father let another nigga his age put hands on his father, slapped him. His father could have lost his life. And T.O. stood back and didn't do shit. This is who he is. He's a punk. Like I'm not like nobody should be surprised by this. And he's been ducking Devin Haney for years. I mean, they literally created a belt specifically, or excuse me, I'm not gonna say they created a belt, but Teofimo requested the franchise belt. And that belt was specifically created so Lomachenko didn't have to fight Devin Haney. But no, I mean, and I don't know who this person is. I mean, I don't fucking care. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I don't fucking care. Like, I really don't care who what's his name, Keith, whatever. I mean, I don't care. And touching on Tim Bradley real quickly, he's a fucking coon. And I keep telling you this. He liked to put on that fucking gray and black and white fucking coonery outfit, and he just liked to play goop games. He liked to talk all this stupid shit for his white Jewish master, Bob Arum, and then leave his brothers behind. He don't give a fuck about us. He don't give a fuck about Devin Haney. He don't give a fuck about Bud Crawford. Tim Bradley's all out here for himself, and I ain't mad at him. But I'm gonna call it like I see it. The man's a fucking gook. He's a coon. He's all that shit. Go ahead.
Yo, Tim Bradley, bro, he constantly taking L's, bro. He's sitting over here with the motherfucking jaundice in his eyes. He talk, man, I'm the man. You ain't about to sit here and tell me that Teofimo Lopez ain't ducking no Devin Haney.
Man, somebody should hit him with a bottle.
Yo, and he said, man, I'll come back and fight Devin Haney. Shit. Yo, Tim, miss me with that tough shit, man. Shut the fuck up, man. Because when the WBC mandated you to fight Earl Spence, you stood your fat ass in retirement. It was, you know what I mean, eating them jelly-filled donuts, you fucking coon. Shut the fuck up. Stop talking like you gonna come back and do any motherfucking thing, because you not. You said your fat ass gonna sit there and eat your motherfucking chicken sandwich at that top-rate commentary table and talk boxer like they tell you to, fuck nigga.
Yeah, chicken sandwich full of fucking mayo, no fucking pepper. Fucking coon-ass nigga.
With extra pickles with his faggot ass.
Ugh.
Dirty ass. Bread be ashy as shit. He be tearing that shit up too with no drink.
Ew.
Bro, I be sitting here watching Tim and I'm like, yo, let me hear Tim out because, you know, he was a former fighter. So I want to listen to his perspective. But it's like, bro, you could tell that the shit that he be pushing, he don't even be believing in the shit. He really don't. Like, he just do whatever Bob and them tell him to do. I swear to God, they call Tim and they be like, yo, we need you to start pushing this, and that. He be like, oh, right on it, boss. Right on it, boss. He get his fat ass right up out that ashy ass bed he got. And, you know, he take that little walk around his crib and he get to talking. Desert Storm Bradley here. Let me tell you something about Desert Storm Bradley here. Let me tell you something about Devin Haney, man. Yeah, Devin Haney, man. Let me tell you something about Devin Haney. And I'm like, bro, here this nigga go, just shucking and jiving in this motherfucker, boy. I swear to God, bro, don't nobody do that shit like Tim, bro. That's why you see how like when they was getting rid of all those people, you know what I'm saying? That ESPN commentators, they kept Tim ass. You know why they kept him? Because he don't mind.
You're fucking gook.
He don't mind cooning. He'll throw anybody under the bus to push a narrative, to push certain propaganda. He will do that to anybody. I knew Tim Bradley was a cold nut ass nigga when he remember, like, you know, one of the reasons why Terrence Crawford started to pick up momentum in his career, because Tim Bradley was giving him the cosign. Tim Bradley co-signed him like, yo, he was smart, man. He kicked my ass in sparring. That's I knew he was going to be special, blah, 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 blah. That was like his first true stamp coming into the game. Then, you know, Vasyl Lomachenko, when he started getting shit popping, and they was talking about he was pound for pound number one, and you know, this is when Andre Ward was active too. He gonna sit here and be like, nah, man, like I love Terrence Crawford, man, but you know, Vasyl Lomachenko, he pound for pound number one, man. And Andre Ward was like, but how? He pound for pound number one over Terrence? How? This nigga Tim sat there with them yellow ass eyes, and he was like, because it's Lomachenko, bro. I was like, yo, this nigga ain't provide no type of reason and nothing because it's Lomachenko. All Lomachenko need to be is Lomachenko to be pound for pound number one. That's fucking crazy to me.
He got the complexion for the protection.
Woo. Tim don't, but shit, he'll protect them motherfuckers who got the complexion though. That's what's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's crazy, bro. So that shit.
Massa, our house is on fire. Our house is on fire, Massa. That's the type of nigga he is. Everybody else running for the bushes. He running to tell the fucking Massa the house is on fire. Fucking coon. A fucking gook. I just can't stand Tim Bradley no more. I'm like you. I tried to give him his respect because I felt like he deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. And people kept shitting on him saying, oh, why the fuck Tim Bradley in the Hall of Fame? Tim Bradley had a great career. This man put on some exciting ass fights. But as soon as he put on that top-ranked fucking suit and got on that ESPN broadcast, he turned into a coon. Okay? He puts on that fucking black and white and gray fucking coon costume, and he gets out there and he coons around for his fucking white Jewish master. Okay? I've had enough. This is a nigga that told Boots, "Oh, Boots, why go after the big fights? Why, why go after the big fight?" This man is like there's just no. I have no respect for nothing he got to say because I know it's not coming from him. I know it's coming from a second mouth. Okay, he's a you know. I'm not gonna call him a punk. I'm not gonna call him a punk, but he's a fucking coon. He's a fucking gook. He's a Sambo. Cause Uncle Toms are good to me. He's a fucking Sambo. Okay, he's all that shit.
Yo, how about when you know, I always seen Tim showing Shakur love and shit like that, right? Then you know when Shakur did his last fight with Top Rank, bro, this how I know like he just be told to do shit and he just do it because, bro, out of nowhere he was like, "Gotta get my coffee ready." Gotta get my coffee ready, bro. Like the fight had just started with Shakur, bro. Gotta get my coffee ready. I was like,
Oh
damn,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
I was like, where the fuck that came from, Tom? Like, damn, like you had Shakur, like you said Shakur beat Tank and bro. Like I'm seeing him back Shakur heavy. As soon as Shakur get ready to walk away from Top Rank, here you go throwing shots, trying to insinuate he boring and shit like that. And then you know what I mean? They show the crowd walking out and shit like that, bro. But little do people say, bro, to beat traffic, motherfuckers usually need to fight early, especially if it's a shutout. It ain't because like niggas don't want to sit there as a snooze fest or something. No, like niggas usually do that to beat the traffic.
I don't know about that. If it's a toe-to-toe, like if
Swear
it's
to
Eric
God.
Mraz versus
I said when
Barrera,
it's a
I ain't fucking
shutout.
leaving early, nigga.
I'm saying when it's a shutout. Like if niggas already know what's about to happen, niggas will leave just to beat the traffic. I used to do that shit all the time. I be seeing somebody getting smoked, and I'm like, bro, this shit ain't gonna go bull away, man. This shit ain't competitive. I'm out. Let me go ahead, beat the traffic by like 15 minutes so I can get home on time. Because if I leave at the same time as everybody else, I'm gonna get caught in a jam. You feel me? Like he was smoking bull. So it was like, what the fuck? Like, what did they want? I don't know, bro. But Tim Bradley, once I seen him do that, I was like, oh, he's a real like business. Like him and Stephen A. Smith cut from the same cloth, bro. They the same, bro.
Yeah. Yes.
They got the same.
They're the good boys. They're the good boys.
Exactly. It's disappointing to say that shit, but you know, the truth is the truth. I wish he wasn't like that, but you know, there's some people that, you know, they don't really they put their principles to the side for that check. And I think that's why they got rid of Andre Ward because he wasn't, you know, he wasn't tap dancing he wasn't tap dancing for him. You know, he didn't feel the need to disrespect fighters to get a check. So they was like, you know what? I mean, Andre Ward, you know, he a good commentator and all that, but you know what I mean? He not trying to push, you know, the narratives that we trying to push out here to, you know, get, you know, keep us, you know, relevant and shit like that. So we just gonna kick him to the curb. You feel me? And it worked out. Shout out to Andre Ward for putting together that Art of Ward segment that he got on All the Smoke, bro. He's been putting together some quality interviews. So shout out to the boy Andre Ward. But anyways, now that we got the Teofimo Lopez personal reason ducking out of the way and Vasyl Lomachenko retiring, let's get into this press conference right here, man. I'm going to let Marky start it off because I seen him comment on the video that I had put out earlier, and he seems pretty passionate about this topic. So I'm going to let you lead this one, brother.
No, I mean, I only saw the ending of the press conference. When Christina Pantra was asking Del Santos some questions, but I saw the 3-minute clip of Keyshawn punking or pressuring Abdullah. Okay, that's what the hell I like to see. Okay, I am so and this is a message directly to Coffee Plant. I love you, Coffee Plant, and I love you, Mazuma. But I'm sick of niggas like you. I'm sick of niggas that want to say, "Oh, Abdullah," man. That in one breath they want to say, "Man, Abdullah cold, man. Abdullah knocking everything out." Then in the next breath, when it's time, we got a great matchup. We got Abdullah versus Keyshawn. Man, I don't know if Abdullah ready, man. I think he should take another 2 fight. Nigga, what? No. Keyshawn Davis renewed my faith in boxing and niggas getting down to smoke, okay? If you think that nigga is a killer, if you think Abdullah Mason is all this shit, put his ass in there and prove it. Okay? I'm sick of the you know what we just came out of? The tank knock him out generation.
The
Them
what?
tank
The what?
the tank knock him out generation. Them niggas that like to say, man, Tank ain't gotta fight him. Man, Tank ain't gotta fight. Tank knock him out. Tank knock him out. Why Tank gotta fight him? Them niggas. Nah, I want to see some fucking smoke. If a nigga's finna get knocked out and embarrassed, let it happen. That shit don't hurt me. Shit, I don't care if Abdullah Mason gets stopped. I love it. Go ahead. Go ahead, nigga. Sick of you niggas.
Hold up, nigga. This Tank a knock him out generation.
Tank
Oh,
can knock him out. Why he gotta fight him, man? Tank can knock him out. Them niggas. Sick of them dudes. They need them the niggas. They need to be sterilized and removed off of fucking social media.
all right. So for those of y'all who didn't see it, or y'all don't really be keeping up with what's going on in the boxing world, man. They had their final press conference today for Keyshawn Davis, who will be facing Edwin De Los Santos this Saturday, along with Abdullah Mason. He's fighting Jeremiah Nakatila, and and I think that was done purposely. They had them sitting, awfully close to each other. I don't think that's a coincidence at all. You know what I'm saying? And I guess Christina Pancha was just doing like her little media obligations, asking questions and stuff like that. And they pretty much asked, Abdullah Mason, like, you planning on fighting the champion next, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to doing. And things like that. He said, after I get Nakatila out the way, we're gonna explore those options. So Keyshawn Davis pretty much saw that. And I'm paraphrasing, of course. I'm not saying this, word for word. But Keyshawn was like, all right, so what you plan on doing? Like, what you want to do? And Abdullah was like, he's still composed. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's still composed. He didn't really let Keyshawn's, like, energy really get to him or nothing like that. And he was like, we got to see. I just got to see what my – and he was like, he said, why don't we fight next? He was like, oh, yeah, my team could definitely put that together. He said, oh, no, like, pretty much fuck your team. What you need to put it together. You the one who get in the ring.
Yeah, he said you the man.
Yeah, like, you the man. You the one that's in there type shit. Like, why you got to have your team do shit for you? Which don't really make sense, because if Abdullah paying these niggas, they need to be doing that shit. They need to be putting it together for him. But I understood what Keyshawn was saying at the same time. Pretty much like, you know what I'm saying? You step up to the plate and you make the fight happen. You know what I mean? You don't need your people to make the fight for you. And he pretty much said, yo, like, I don't feel like talking to you. And I understood what he meant in that situation. It was like, bro, you fighting Edwin De Los Santos. I'm fighting Nakatila. Why the fuck why the fuck you want to talk about this right now? Why don't we just talk about this shit after we both, finish our fights? Keyshawn was making fun of Abdullah, like, stuttering and pausing and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then he told Bob Arum to make that fight happen. And, he was pretty much, he was putting that pressure on Abdullah, but Abdullah remained calm. What I did notice was Abdullah was keeping that eye contact, like, the fuck, like, was looking at Keyshawn. And Keyshawn, you know what I mean? He had his promoter hat on. I think he was stirring the pot purposely to, get people hyped. Keyshawn Davis, the businessman. So, with that being known, bro, he don't mind stirring the pot up to get a few more eyes on the fight or sell a little bit more tickets out there in Norfolk. So I thought that was entertaining. I definitely thought that was entertaining. But, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you this, Marky. I would love to see that fight happen next. Would love it. I think that'll push the boxing culture forward. And I tell y'all all the time, that's what Mazuma TV is all about. Pushing the boxing culture forward. Abdullah talking about he ready. Mike Tyson won a world title at 20, so why can't I? Like, he's seeing it as a possible thing. You feel what I'm saying? So I like Abdullah Mason's confidence. However, I seen that interview from Bob Arum, man. Did you see it?
Nah, what Bob had to say?
He pretty much saying that he want Abdullah to cook up a little bit more before he fight Keyshawn.
I gotta go watch that, but if that's what that firstly, Bob Arum does not run Top Rank anymore. That fat, bloated Jewish Ashkenazi son of a bitch. Okay, I don't care what he got to say. Respect the Bob. He a goat. But right now, with this situation in the year 2025, get your fat, bloated, Ashkenazi Jewish ass to the back. Okay? Sit in the fucking back of the press conferences. Don't nobody want to hear what the fuck you got to say other than, yeah, we going to make the fight. Because that's all we want to hear. We don't want to hear this bullshit about, oh, maybe another 2 fights. Abdullah will be ready. That's another year and a half. I am not trying to hear it. Keyshawn said he wanted next. Abdullah said they can make it next. That nigga's about to be the WBO interim champion. It's no excuses. There are no excuses. Go ahead. And one more thing. If that nigga Keyshawn Davis ever gets that Tank Davis fight, firstly, I think he would beat the sleeves off of Tank. But not only that, he would become the man. And he would run boxing for a long time. Because that nigga has a mouthpiece. And he has charisma like not any of these other fighters around his weight class. Like, really, there's nobody at or around that weight class who could talk or be on the mic like him. Go ahead.
So that's what Bob Arum said. He would like to see Abdullah Mason cook up a little bit more. And he says that, Abdullah Mason is not on the same experience level as Keyshawn Davis. So that was Bob Arum's perspective. Now, y'all want to hear what I got to say? The boxer fan in me definitely would love to see that fight happen. But thinking about things logically and knowing how the way the business goes, I know you don't want to hear this, Marky. I know you don't want to hear this. But this is the reality of the situation, bro. We all know what promoters' objective is in boxing. It's to make as much money off of a fighter as possible, right? They invested money into this fighter, pumping this fighter up, just hoping that they're able to get their return on investment. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but they're willing to take that chance. And they see a lot of potential in both these guys. Keyshawn Davis, he's a world champion now, but, he grabbed that title pretty early in his career. He got some developing to do. He got a lot more, his ceiling's a lot higher than what it is right now, in my opinion. Abdullah Mason, he's, moving up that contender ladder now, and he got a lot to learn as well, in terms of, becoming a champion and remaining a champion. They're at the beginning. They still in both of them guys are still at the first half of their career, in my opinion. So the way that they're looking at this from a promotional standpoint is both of these guys are relatively green, not in terms of skill set or, like in terms of skill set and stuff like that, but in terms of, what they've accomplished and, the development phase that they're currently in right now. So, like I said, promoters, their whole end goal is to get as much money up off of these fighters as possible. The last thing they want to do is fuck up these guys' value while they on the come up, or at least fuck up their money while they on the come up. You feel what I'm saying? So Bob Arum probably looking at it like, why the fuck would I have these guys fight each other right now when either I could have them fight later down the line, which is that marinating shit, which I don't like, but that is a thing. Whether we like it or not, that is a thing in the sport of boxing. And another thing is, let me see how I can say this shit. Why would I fuck my money up with either one of these guys right now and diminish their stock when I'm trying to get my return on investment on both of these guys? Because they spending, how much? I already know, bro. With Abdullah Mason, these motherfuckers want to get top dollar if they fighting him. So they dishing out a lot of bread. They dishing out a lot of bread to get this motherfucker. What happened? What'd you say?
Talking to me?
Oh, I thought you said something. My fault.
No, go ahead. My bad.
What I'm gonna say is this: they dishing out a lot of bread to get Abdullah Mason to the top. I'm sure they dished out a lot of bread to get Keyshawn Davis to the top. So I think it's safe to say that they haven't really gotten their money back from either one of those dudes. I think that Bob Arum understands if these two fight each other, it's a possibility that one guy's gonna lose, right? So he's gonna either way. If these guys fight each other and somebody lose, he's gonna fuck up his money in one department. Speaking from a business perspective, and Bob done been in the game for about 50 years already. Would he rather fuck one money up with both fighters, or had these guys both become champions and, make them both champions so he could, double, triple his bread in this situation. Because that's all they really care about at the end of the day. And although, the fighters are the bosses and the promoter works for the fighters and stuff like that, promoters can be very influential on what fighters choose to do in their career because they're the ones who putting the money up at the end of the day. So, these fighters, especially when they're on the come up, they're going to listen to their promoters. They're going to take their advice from their promoters and do what they feel is in the best interest of the promoter because they're the ones who's cutting the checks at the end of the day. So that's how I see that situation, bro. What I personally believe is going to happen, and I've been seeing it, they've been pushing this narrative. They trying to get Keyshawn to go up to the 140-pound division. And I see that Keyshawn's contemplating that situation, right? So what I personally believe is going to happen is somehow, some way, Keyshawn Davis is going to move up to 140. That title is going to end up becoming vacant, and they're going to have Abdullah Mason fight for the vacant WBO title. That's what I think is going to happen. And, Keyshawn Davis probably going to get an opportunity at 140 or whatever and try to get a belt up there. Why would he cash out one of them guys when he could have these guys be champions in different divisions and come up off of both of them? That's what I believe is personally going to happen. But I would love to see that fight. But I'm just telling you the perspective from, Top Rank and what they would like to see happen. They not trying to cash out neither one of them dudes right now, despite what they're calling for.
I think that's and I agree that is how most promoters and most managers look at their fighters, especially coming out of the Floyd era. There's a certain belief that if you take an L, your career is over. Like you can't ever gain back the mystique. I personally think that's bullshit. We've seen Devin Haney lose. We've seen Teofimo Lopez lose. We've seen even Tyson Fury just recently lose. And even then, those guys I just called, Tyson Fury I just called. That's not a good example because he's an older fighter. But Abdullah and Keyshawn, these are young dudes. These are young dudes. And not only that, if they go in there and they perform, bro, that's only going to raise their profiles. People are going to look out for them even more because they're going to be like, those are the two coldest youngins at 135, and they were willing to get in there with each other at a young age. Like, a young 21-year-old taking a loss? Like, that shouldn't end nobody's career in the sport of boxing. And Bob Arum should know better than that shit. He came up promoting guys like Hagler. He came up promoting guys like Jose Napoles, who's a great Mexican Cuban fighter. If you look him up, all of these guys had losses coming up. So I just disagree with that logic and that mindset that a lot of these managers and promoters like to take. And another point, I mean, they both got the same promoter. So I don't think Bob Arum, and even if he was involved, I don't think he would play necessarily favorites in that situation. Man, I just want to see the fight, bro. I don't like talking about this numbers and all this other bullshit. I just want to see some fights. Like, I'm so sick of this bullshit. They're gonna have this man, if what you say comes true, they're gonna have this man fight what's the Japanese dude that gave Tio a tough fight and Lomachenko stopped him?
You talking about
Nakatani brother. Yeah, Junto Nakatani's brother. They're gonna have him fight Nakatani. Okay? Then they're gonna put him in there with another
is
probably
he really
Richard
Nakatani
Comey.
brother, or are you just saying that?
No. What I'm saying is they're gonna put him in there with an opponent at that level. And then they're gonna call it seasoning. Bro, I don't want to see no more seasoning. I'm tired. This thing has been seasoned as much as it's gonna be seasoned. Okay? Let's put it in the goddamn oil. Let's throw it in the pot. Let's cook it. Let's fry it. Let's eat. Like, I'm sick of this, bro. I want to see Keyshawn versus Abdullah. I'm not trying to see it. Nothing else in boxing gets my blood up right now. Like, like how I'm talking to you right now, I have not talked about another fight like this, I'm saying like at least 2 years. Like, I have not cared this much about a fight.
Well, Let me play devil's advocate real quick, and this is not me, disagreeing with you. I would like to see that fight too. Erickson Lubin, right? You remember Erickson Lubin?
Of course.
Of course we do, right? Everybody in the chat know who Erickson Lubin is. Shout out to the chat. Um, Young dude on the come up. Um, from what I understand, he never fought nobody with a losing record. You know, was climbing up the division. Young, hungry, looked promising. Um, was calling out the champions, and you know, he felt like he was so ready for the opportunity. Gets in there with Jamal Charlo, who was the champion at the time, gets sparked in one round. Uh, as a result of that, Erickson Lubin hasn't, he's got some okay wins since then, like Jason Rosario, and he just beat Holmes, Ardell Holmes the other day. But he hasn't really had that same momentum since prior to the Charlo fight. Do you think that Top Rank feels like that may possibly happen if they rush him to a world title fight right now instead of giving him some step up fights?
I mean, it's a fair. It's definitely a fair it's definitely a possibility if Abdullah Mason is actually no. You know what? I'm not even gonna say that because I don't know what happened with that Lubin situation. I mean that was, I'm not gonna call it fluky, but I mean, golly, like to get knocked out like that, like I don't even think you could put that down to. I don't even think it was necessarily anything he could have did to train or prepare himself differently for that fight. I just think Charlo lined up found the right moment to land that right hand, and he was gone. But I mean, I don't know, bro. Like I mean, do you believe in these fighters or not? Like I mean, to me that's the point blank and period. And I think that this is a fight that would draw a lot of money, particularly if they had it in that Norfolk, Virginia area, because Abdullah was on the undercard for that last fight Keyshawn had out there in Norfolk. And they saw and Abdullah gained a lot of fans out there. They saw how he gets down. They saw that he's a dangerous kid. And now he's gonna be fighting again. So hopefully he can execute this dude he's fighting, and then Top Rank will realize that maybe this is a big enough fight for us to go ahead and put it on over here. But I don't know, man. Like I mean, do you believe in your fighter or not? Like to me, that's what it comes down to. If you want to put him in there or not for a title.
And I mean, this is just my opinion. I feel like Top Rank believes in Abdullah's potential, but I do think that they have a formula that they abide by. I think they have a formula that they abide by, and based off of that formula, they're able to, take an educated guess into whether they feel like that guy is ready for a championship level fight or not. Personally, looking over Abdullah Mason's resume and what he's done thus far, he looks like the goods. He's performing at, and we just seen him go through a he faced a little bit of controversy in a couple fights back. Hitting the canvas twice and then staying composed and actually getting the stoppage not too long after. So I feel like he's checking a lot of things off of the list, but I feel like that Top Rank is gonna, give him some fights where like they're winnable, but he's actually able to learn and continue to. I still think they molded him, is what I'm trying to say. I think they still trying to mold him. You know what I mean? They seeing that what they creating so far is turning out to look really good, but they don't feel confident in putting it on display yet.
This is why I want TKO boxing to come in and take over and essentially be like an Armageddon to boxing and just clear out all these bullshit ass bitch ass promoters. Because if this was the UFC, Dana White would have been had these two niggas fight. They would have been fought. Like even before Abdullah, like Abdullah wouldn't have even had to have this fight for the two of them to fight. If it's one cold young champion that's got a belt and the other cold young killer is coming up the ranks and they right near each other and the whole world is calling for it, it happens. Like, I'm so sick of these niggas, man. Like, I could go on all fucking night, but just make the fight happen, bro. Like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to have another Haney versus Shakur, where we just stuck on top of panels, cussing at each other, saying, "Oh no, this guy was ducking. No, he sent the contract. He's ducking." I'm sick of that. Let's have some fights, man. Let's talk about Abdullah versus Keyshawn beating the hell out of each other. Or let's talk about one of them looking sorry as hell and getting the hell beat out of them. But let's not be up here talking bullshit. Like this why, and I could talk the business side of football and basketball, because I actually know we're gonna get to see those big games and those big matchups. It's hard for me to do that with boxing. It's hard for me to really like sit here and talk to you about Abdullah Mason possibly not fighting Keyshawn Davis next. But that's absurd to me. But man, this fight need to happen next. That's all I fucking know. I don't know nothing else about what business strategies they got or what they looking to do to make each other's stock higher. I mean, make the fucking fight. That's how your stock become higher as a fighter, by fighting other great young fighters. Like I don't know what else to say about that situation.
Shout out to everybody that's in the chat so far. My boy Jay Cash in the building. He said, "Fuck seasoning. That shit's starting to get salty. Let's put this shit together already."
Nah, facts.
Shout out to the boy Slime in the building. What up? He came a little late, but it's all good. Shout out to my brother. Anonymous says, "This argument is ridiculous. Abdullah hasn't fought anywhere near the championship level and deserves to fight those fights first." So he feels like Abdullah needs to slow it down. He thinks that Abdullah's doing the right thing and taking them step-up fights before he fights the champions. Let me see what else. What we talking about? Anonymous also follows up with that. He said,
"Hey, Slime, walk with your passport. Them people coming to pick you up." Go ahead.
"Why you playing? He's Puerto Rican. Why you saying that, man?"
Shit, I don't know what the nigga is. The ICE might not know what he is.
Yo, you talking crazy, bro. We don't need passports. We Puerto Rican, cuz we citizens. He said, Anonymous says, "No, he wouldn't. You also have to earn your title shot in UFC. Abdullah hasn't really earned a title shot." So we got some mixed opinions in here. So it's a good conversation to have, bro. But one thing we can't deny is that tension between Keyshawn Davis and Abdullah Mason is definitely boiling right now. You feel what I'm saying? And, I don't know when the fight's going to happen. Me personally, I don't think we're seeing that next. You feel what I'm saying? I've been optimistic as a boxing fan multiple times, and I've been let down more times than I've actually been uplifted. That's just how the way
you gotta open your heart, Mark. You gotta open your heart.
I've been doing that. I've been in the game for years. You know how many times I try to be optimistic and shit, didn't go my way? Damn near 95% of the time.
So because one woman breaks your heart, you close your heart forever and you don't ever talk to no other women? You don't give nobody else a chance?
If we comparing boxing to a woman, I'm gonna say that boxing is like I've been let down multiple times by boxing, so it's like I got let down by 8 different women.
Damn,
that's how the fuck it feel to me. Every time I'm feeling like we got something,
I
just got let down with Devin and Teo. I was optimistic about that. I'm over here telling niggas, yo, Teo not gonna fight Dev, bro. Teo not gonna fight Dev. And while I'm going live, people telling me, they just agreed to the fight. It's finalized. And I reserved my criticism for Teo because something in me told me to stay optimistic and was like, yo, you know what I mean? He just shut you the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? He actually gonna fight Dev. He ain't on no ducking shit. So I reserve my opinion. Then we go the whole live talking about what the fight could be and how it's lit and all this shit. And then
you were defending your splash, brother. I get it.
And in less than 24 hours, Teo pulls out of the negotiations. I'm like, damn. Just when I was a little optimistic, this shit just gets taken away from me. So what the fuck? This shit happens in boxing all the time. All the time. I thought Brian Norman and Boots was about to cook something up. Brian Norman walk away. Like, bro, this shit is non-stop. Some shit is like, yo, it don't even make sense. It's not going to happen. All right, cool. But, bro, there be sometimes where, like, I remember I got let down when Usyk and Fury supposed to fight each other one time. And before Turkey intervened, they kept having disputes. And, you know, that fight would have never happened without Turkey. I remember when Earl and Bud was supposed to fight at one point. And Bud walked away from the negotiations and fought David Evanesian on BLK Prime. I was disappointed at that time too, bro. This shit is non-stop disappointment. That's why you really can't go into this shit with optimism. You just got to sit back and be like, man, I ain't believing in this shit until it's official. Like some people be like, I ain't believing in this shit until they step in the ring. So
that's how I feel.
It's hard. It's hard, bro. It's hard to be optimistic with this shit. Shout out to the boy Miles Jordan in the building. He says Tank, Keyshawn, and Core retired. Loma, he got the easiest belt from Cambozo. They be pump faking fights. Damn.
Man, well, let me say this. I got to get up out of here, Mazuma. But, man, I just hope we get this goddamn fight. I'm not trying to see Abdullah Mason fight a bunch of guys. A bunch of fucking guys, okay? I'm trying to see Keyshawn Davis versus Abdullah Mason. That's all I'm trying to see. Yeah. I mean, that's really all I got to say. Oh, and Slime, El Salvador. I hear it's a very nice place. I hear CCOT, the prison they're gonna send your bitch immigrant ass to. I hear it's a very nice place. You got a nice room with all your other cellmates that Donald Trump is gonna send you to, you bastard. Peace.
Yo, why he talking to Slime like that? What the fuck? Does Slime say something to him? Yo, why he playing with Slime like that? But anyways, man, we done hit every topic that was on this video caption, man. So let's get into some open boxing topics, man. How everybody feeling? What's y'all reaction to Keyshawn Davis and Abdullah Mason going back and forth during that press conference? I don't know. I didn't see Slime say anything. Oh, shit. We got a ghost in the building from Power. What's going on, brother? I thought they killed your ass, man. What you doing on here trying to talk boxing? That boy Ghost wildin'. That boy done came back from the dead to talk boxing with Mazuma TV. That only happens on this channel, my brothers and sisters. It only happens on Mazuma TV, brothers and sisters. Y'all see what's going on, man. We got celebrities in the motherfucking building. Yeah, I thought you checked. Nah, he in the motherfucking building right now, man. Who do that? Who do this? Who do this other than Mazuma TV, man? Let's get this shit popping. Man. Oh, shit, you looking for Tyreek? Oh, man, you ain't going to find him over here, brother. As a matter of fact, I think Anonymous is Tyreek. I think Anonymous is Tyreek, man. You might have to go tap in with Anonymous. I think that's who you looking for, brother. Shout out to the boy Anonymous. He says, what did y'all think? And Keyshawn saying he won't unify with Mordecai. I actually didn't see him say that, but I'm going to take your word for it. You ain't never known for capping on here, my brother. So that's disappointing. I'm gonna just say that I don't understand why he wouldn't do that unification fight. You know, they both deal with Top Rank for what I understand, so that should be an easy unification fight. What's the purpose of not wanting to unify with Mordecai? I believe you, brother, but if you want to send the clip, go ahead, send me the clip. Let me know when you send it so I can show it to the people on here. We got 29 people in the building, man. Y'all go ahead, hit the like button. I did not know that Keyshawn Davis said that. I was busy as shit this whole day today, man. I had to grab my son, on a day that I wasn't supposed to have him. So I was caught up with him. I was at the gym. We got fights this weekend. I had the last sparring session. It was hard for me to keep up with the media today. But as soon as I get up off of here, that's when I, watch the videos before I go to sleep and shit like that. He said, fuck, dude, delete it. Damn. I'm sure somebody else got the video. But regardless, shout out to Raymond Mordecai for becoming the full status IBF champion over in the lightweight division. You know what I'm saying? That's what should have been done in all honesty because Lomachenko did stall out as long as he could. Maybe he just needed time to think. I don't know what the case is. Maybe he was contemplating coming back and just decided it wasn't worth it. But I'm glad we got that out of the way. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad we got that out of the way and we actually got some motion back in the division because, you know, I understand Loma was going through his things and stuff like that, but he was stalling the division in terms of, you know, like unification fights and stuff like that. So we got Raymond Mordetaya in the mix, man. So now we got Raymond, we got Tank, we got Keyshawn, and we got Shakur. We got 4 phenomenal champions in the lightweight division right now. So we need to see some unifications. I understand Shakur and Keyshawn not really too big on fighting each other, but, you know, that don't mean unification fights can't happen. You know, I never heard of Keyshawn having a relationship with Raymond Mordetaya. Why not grab that belt? It ain't like you got to go through a rehydration clause to get that belt. It's going to be a unification fight. So what's the reason? I don't really understand that. And I think that's a winnable fight for Keyshawn, to be honest with you. I think it'll be competitive, but I do think Keyshawn has what it takes to defeat Raymond Mordetaya. And this is coming from somebody who, you know, was definitely that's the clip. I don't know what you mean by that, brother, but regardless, I'm gonna say because I don't. What you mean? That's the clip, military. What you mean? Hold on. Why didn't I go pro? I didn't really ever had an opportunity to go pro, brother. I was in the amateurs, and like I said, I developed a chronic illness known as ulcerative colitis. It's a chronic illness that is incurable at this point in time. I'm remaining optimistic, and hopefully they'll have the technology or the medicine necessary to cure my chronic illness. But, you know, once you develop a chronic illness like ulcerative colitis, you know, there's no way for you to, especially I had severe ulcerative colitis. You feel me? So when you have those things going on, there's no way for you to pass a physical. So there was no way for me to compete point blank period anymore. You feel what I mean? And, you know, I ended up transitioning from amateur to boxing coach. And it was one of the best things that I've ever done. And I've said this on the record multiple times. I feel like I'm a much better coach than I ever was a fighter. So, you know, things happen for a reason. I feel like God put me in that position to help me find my true calling. And we here today. So, you know what I mean? God works in mysterious ways, and he may work in ways that you may not agree with initially, but, you know, he always guides you towards the light. He don't leave you in darkness that long, man. Can I get an amen? Shout out to everybody that's in the building. My boy Ghost in the building. He says, I may be wrong, but I love Abdullah. But I don't think he's ready for Keyshawn next. I'll have mad respect for him if Keyshawn pressures him more and he accepts it next. This is my thing, man. Because, you know, like I said, Keyshawn Davis, the businessman, right? So he's going to do whatever's in his best interest financially. Keyshawn Davis is headlining a fight in his hometown in Norfolk, right? So he wants to, you know, get some promotion popping. You know what I mean? He want to get he trying to grab some attention to sell a few more tickets. I feel like he did that with Abdullah, knowing damn well he not fighting him next. I feel like he did that knowing damn well he not going to fight him next. Let's keep it a buck, bro. Like I said, like I was just telling Marky Dan on here, Top Rank is not going to cash neither one of them dudes out at this very moment. Or at least fuck up their stock or give them an L or set them back at this very moment. These guys are both in the development processes of their career. Keyshawn Davis, he's a world champion, but he still got a whole lot of room to grow. Abdullah Mason just hit the contender phase of his career. He got a whole lot of room to grow. The last thing that Top Rank wants to do is stun their growth, because stunning their growth may affect their pockets. And the last thing that a promoter wants to do is affect their pockets in a negative way. They want to affect their pockets in a positive way. How are they able to do so? By growing, developing, and maintaining world champions. Man, world champions are the one that bring dollars to the table. And, you know, the more money they get, the larger their percentage is. So why the fuck would they cash out Abdullah or Keyshawn Davis at this point in time, where they could work both of these guys in a position where they could both be world champions and they could benefit off of both of them? Why would they do that right now? And I hate to think from this perspective, but, you know, this perspective is relevant. That is something that is very much happening right now. Bob Arum sat back and told you. That this fight ain't happening next. It might happen, but it's not happening next. So let's hear what Keyshawn Davis said in terms of, unifying with Raymond Mortaya and stuff like that. Let's take a look right here.
Well, if that fight doesn't happen, because we saw Lomachenko retire, I guess I wanted to get your thoughts because it's probably going to be Raymond Mortaya or maybe even Andy Cruz.
I'm not fighting Raymond Mortaya. I'm telling you that right now.
Okay. Is it just because it's not an interesting fight?
It's not an interesting fight. And why do I want to pay for another belt? I'm already paying for this job. Why do I want to go fight for another belt that I got to pay for? If they're going to give it to me for free, then I'll fight Raymond Mortaya. But if they want to give me that belt for free, then I ain't fighting him. Also, he got an IBF belt. That means I got to worry about weight, the day, and
No, when you unify,
it's not that?
Correct. That's why
I still want to pay for another belt, so it don't matter. So tell him, do something about that, and then we can probably fight.
Well, I'm glad that media guy corrected him with that whole rehydration shit, because when it is a unification fight, you ain't got to worry about a rehydration clause. Second of all, Keyshawn just made it clear that he does not care for unification fights. I've never heard him say that, but that right there just confirmed to me that he don't care about facing the other champions. So I really hope that on some real shit, bro, you don't call out any other champions in your division that got a belt. Because what you saying that, you need to keep that energy consistent and not look for unifications at all. I could have sworn that I heard Keyshawn talk about unifying the division. Is there a video on that? I swear I heard Keyshawn Davis talk about unifying. I thought him saying that he wasn't going to fight for the IBF was this thing. I thought he had something against the IBF. But he's saying he don't want to pay for another sanctioning fee. Wow. I never heard Keyshawn. That slipped by me. Okay, so he's not necessarily for one champion in the division. Keyshawn, you do know that you can negotiate your sanctioning fees with, each belt organization, right? That's negotiable. I hope this nigga knows that, considering he calls himself the businessman. But damn, that just gave me I don't know, that just kind of threw me off. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't fuck with that shit at all. I don't like that shit at all, bro. So Keyshawn just want to get one belt and just chill with that one belt. He don't want to fight any of the other champions. How does that even look, bro? Y'all cool with that? I swear to God, I heard this nigga say he'll fight Tank. That would be a unification fight. Right? Hold on. That's what I meant by unifying. Now that I think about it, Keyshawn literally was saying that he was saying it on $1 million worth of game. He was just now was all. I'm a little tired right now. Forgive me. I've been up since 6 a.m. Yeah, that's pretty contradictory, don't you think? you can't say that you won't fight for the IBF because you don't want to pay for the belt, but then you're gonna go fight Gervonta Davis, who has the WBA, or you're willing to fight Gervonta Davis, who has the WBA in your weight class. That'll be a unification fight. So you can't sit here and act like you're completely against unification, because if that's the case, then you must not be willing to fight Tank Davis. You know, Mordecai a champion just like Gervonta Davis is now. Now, where you rank them, that's a different, story. But what they share in common right now is that they're both holders of major world titles in the lightweight division. So you can't sit here and say, I'm not fighting Raymond Mordecai because it's not interesting and I don't want to pay for a belt. But then you turn around and say that you want to fight Gervonta Davis. Wow. That's disappointing, man. Because you already know, like, I'm for, like, having one champion in the division. Undisputed is a real big thing over here at Mazuma TV. So to hear a fighter say, why are fighters so okay with, taking that approach? So I've heard Shakur say that he wants to get all the belts in lightweight. Then I'm hearing Keyshawn say he don't really care for another belt at lightweight. That's interesting. That something was in my head, like, bro, I swear I heard this nigga Keyshawn say he want to unify. And now that I think about it, he said, yeah, he gonna get this belt off of Baranchyk and that he want to whoop Lil Tank ass next. That's a unification fight, sir. So what is it? I guess because it's just Tank and the opportunity or whatever. But regardless, that's Tank's belt. You would, and if you defeat Tank somehow, some way, you'll have to pay for both of those belts. You're willing to pay for it because it's Tank. You making exceptions to pay for belts. Is Tank the exception? I guess he is because he's one of the biggest stars in boxing. But that's still contradictory. G tatted up. He already contradicted himself, brother. The contradiction was already made. That's kind of, I don't know. I don't like that, though. Raymond Mordecai and Keyshawn, that'll be a good unification fight. And that's a winnable fight for him. Why are you bitching about paying for a belt when you could easily negotiate a fucking percentage on that belt? I heard like the standard is like 3%, but I heard you can negotiate it. Oh man, that's disappointing, man. I hate when fighters say that shit, bro. Like Jared Anderson, I was putting a lot of stock into Jared Anderson, and he was like, "Man, I don't really care for belts or nothing like that, man. I just want the money." I was like, "Damn, for real?" Like that shit like that turns boxer fans off, bro. Boxer fans don't want to hear you talk about how you don't give a fuck about, belts. Like, no, we want you to care about belts because we want to see you fight other champions. We want to see you climb to the top. The only way you can do that is by beating champions. We want to see undisputed. That shit that we care about. Shout out to the boy G-Bo in the building with the $5 super chat. He says, salute to the young Unk Mark. Shout out to the leaders in the pack, Anon and Coffee. Keep doing your thing, Mark. Absolutely, brother. I appreciate you coming through and showing love, man. G-Bo, one of the newest members of the Wrench Gang. You feel what I'm saying? One of my most, positive, consistent supporters. You feel what I mean? And, Anonymous and Coffee definitely be holding it down, man. So shout out to both of them for coming through and, being the leaders amongst the chat. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to them. Anonymous said, dude got a belt and became a businessman for real. That's an L, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I hate that type of shit. I hate when motherfuckers be doing all this barking and all this shit. And once they get in position, then they, you know what I'm saying? Now they man, you know what, man? Now I know what Tank talking about, man. Shut up with all that shit, bro. God damn, we can't ever win this fans, bro. We always gotta deal with some fuckery, bro. Tank about to walk out the game, and now we gonna have Keyshawn in the game. talking this stupid shit. G tatted up. He said, I know he already contradicted himself, bro. I'm just saying I hope it doesn't become a pattern and really making people start to question him like they do my Ninja Tank. Man, he keep moving like this, man. That's going to be inevitable. That's definitely going to happen if that's the case. You feel what I'm saying? Shit. Let's try to keep this shit going, bro, because I don't even want to have this type of mind frame, and, you know, get all disappointed and shit. So let's continue this boxing conversation. You feel what I'm saying? Let me see actually what people posting online. Let's see what the people talking about, and I'm gonna bring it to the forefront if I feel as though it's relevant. I seen Terrence Crawford do a little interview where he was talking about the Earl Spence situation, and you know, he spoke on the Canelo fight a little bit. I seen Jermell Charlo posting on social media. This nigga got a pet parrot. He posted in his garage. He got a Rolls Royce truck, a Lambo, a motherfucking what's that? Another Rolls Royce. He got a Phantom. Okay, Jermell living good over there. Salute to Jermell Charlo. You know what I mean, taking care of himself and his family. That's what's up. Even though he a nut ass nigga. Let me see. Miles Jordan said, when you let ninjas get bigger than the belt, it start messing up the sport. I agree with you. Man. There's some people who actually become bigger than the belt and actually still cater to boxing fans, like David Benavidez and stuff like that, guys who legacy driven like Devin Haney, you know, and things of that nature. Then we got others who, once they get a belt, they act like they shit don't stink and they ain't got to accommodate nobody no more, like Gervonta Davis, Canelo Alvarez, that we got goofy-ass motherfuckers that's in the same sport as I'm talking about. You know, they've earned the right to do whatever they want to do. Bro, so all of a sudden, you know, you take a couple fights. Tank ain't really take no fights to even earn that, you know, right or whatever the case is. But it's like, bro, as long as you got a world title, there's certain obligations that you need to fill. And if you don't want to fill those obligations, you need to go ahead and let go of that belt. If y'all so much bigger than the belts, why don't y'all just let them go? Like, it's simple. Slime, why was Marky Dan disrespecting you? What did you tell him, man? He closed the live talking crazy about you. What you do to Marky Dan? That Al check have dudes falling back. They be secured. They don't even want to fight anymore. Shit, that's what Earl Spence fucking bro. Yeah, I'll definitely be taking care of niggas and they don't even want to be coming back. Because a lot of their motivation is the money, or at least, you know, trying to get themselves, free themselves from poverty. So once they get to that point, you know, where they comfortable and, you know, they ain't got to worry about being, you know, poverty filled anymore, you know, they lose that hunger because they pretty much complete the mission. Y'all motherfuckers ever, you know, play a game, y'all complete the whole mission and like the game boring because you ain't got nothing else to look forward to. That's pretty much how these fighters be looking at it after they get a couple dollars. Their sole motivation was the money. They got it now. So there's no more motivation left. Fight Sports Talk. What's going on, brother? He said, I'm glad Loma retired. Right call and great career. I agree with you 1,000%. I did feel like he was holding the division up and he was stopping a lot of things from happening. But I guess he wasn't holding up anything because these motherfuckers don't want to fight each other anyway. I guess Loma wasn't holding anything up because these dudes don't want to unify anyway in the lightweight division. They just want to grab these belts and hold on to them as long as they can before they move up. That's very disappointing, man, hearing Keyshawn talk like that. I'm surprised nobody ever, you know, pressed him about that. I would love to ask Keyshawn that question. But, you know, they ain't, you know what I mean, they're going to avoid me as long as they can. They're going to keep my channel small for as long as they can. You feel me? So it is what it is. But I am happy that Loma retired. I did think and look, what I consider the right call is when you no longer enthused by boxing anymore, So, you know what I mean? If you feel like you can't keep up with it no more, you're no longer interested, you burnt out, then that's when I feel like you should walk away. If your mind's not in it no more, then you need to chalk it. You feel me? So I'm glad that he left the boxing game with, his faculties in order, and actually leaving, with a win, leaving the sport on top, in terms of becoming a world champion. And Loma did have a good career, man. He had 21 fights. That's not that many, but you know, he was able to become a 3 division world champion. He got Nicholas Walters, Guillermo Rigondeaux, uh, 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 Jose Pedraza, Luke Campbell, Linares, Jason Sosa, Rocky Martinez. He got a lot of quality fighters on his resume, man. Even the ones he lost to. Devin Haney, not Shakur, sorry. Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Orlando Salido, all them dudes was dogs. He beat a prime Gary Russell, dog. You feel me? Like Loma done been around the block for the little bit of time he was in boxing. He did a lot of good shit. So I salute Vasily Lomachenko. You feel me? I did think that his fans made me dislike him at one point in time, but overall, Loma's always been like a mellow personality. And he's always given us phenomenal fights. He's gave us some memorable fights. What else? That's a career that's been, that's a life that's been lived. That's a career that's been fulfilled. You feel what I'm saying? So congratulations to Vasily Lomachenko, and I hope he stays safe along with his family out there in Ukraine, because there's some unfortunate shit that's going on over there right now. Miles Jordan said, Earl can't beat. No threat at 54. He might as well go ahead and retire. I'm hearing Frank Martin talk about Earl, and it sounds like Earl ain't going to come back anytime soon. So it's like, damn. But Earl could still get some good fights, man. I would love to see Earl and Thurman. I feel like both of them, like right now, would be a good fight. But Earl always felt the way about Keith, because Keith wouldn't give him an opportunity. So, when them tables turned and, Keith became irrelevant while Earl was champion, he said he'll never give Thurman an opportunity because he genuinely don't like him. So that's unfortunate. But I don't think Earl at this point in his career is beating any of the top guys at 154. I don't think he's beating any of the top guys at 54 right now. Just, the inactivity, the damage that he took and what his body just went through in general, I think it'll be hard for him to, keep up with these guys who are a lot fresher than him, in my opinion. Yeah, he was on Brian Custer's show. Man, they need to bring that shit back, bro. Where is Brian Custer, bro? What is he doing? He needs to come back to boxing, bro. At least get his interviews back on track. That the last stand with Brian Custer, he need to go ahead and get that shit back popping, bro. It's sad that, once Showtime gave up, he gave up with them. I hope Brian Custer get back in the mix. He was a solid dude, bro. He was one of the most likable people in boxing. One of the most respected people to be in boxing, to be real with you. You don't really hear nobody disrespecting Brian Custer. Always been a professional. Always was positive. You never heard him talk bad about anybody. He does his job with the smile. You could tell he genuinely enjoyed what he did, and just a positive soul, bro. Max Kellerman, Brian Custer, where did they go? Max Kellerman, I don't know what he doing, bro. I got his number and all. I hit him up. He never responded to me. I would love to, bro. I would love to do bro. If y'all really want to see me, like, really prepare for an interview or really be prepared for some boxing talk, bro, get me on the fucking live with Max Kellerman, bro. I swear to God, that'll be such a good conversation, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. I would love to speak to Max Kellerman. He one of the most well-spoken, one of the best boxing analysts ever, in my opinion. The way that he breaks down boxing and, he brings up, he's a true historian, bro. He's one of very few people I respect when it comes to boxing talk. You feel me? And to be honest with you, I don't know why Max Kellerman don't have a YouTube channel right now where he just speaks about boxing. You ain't with HBO no more. You're not with ESPN no more. Did you retire? Are you taking a break? I seen Jim Lampley disappear for a little bit. He getting back in the mix. I see Larry Merchant. He be popping up, here and there. Although he been having health issues and stuff. Is Larry Merchant still okay? Yeah, he's still around. Him and Bob around the same age. Damn. He's still around. I be seeing him like popping up at events and stuff like that. Yeah, ever since Max Kellerman got let go by ESPN, bro, he done disappeared. That shit is crazy, and that's disappointing, honestly, man. There's no reason why Max Kellerman shouldn't be out here talking boxing and keeping the boxing culture, alive or relevant. You feel what I mean? Let me see something real quick. Oh, it's late right now. I ain't gonna do that. But I got Max Kellerman number, bro. Let me see. Yeah, I got his information right here. Let me see. Bro, on some real shit, bro, when I be doing like live fight commentary and stuff like that, I don't even listen to the commentators for real. I really don't. Like there should be a setting on these networks where you could do like commentary and no commentary. You know what I mean? Like that should really be a thing. I don't think that we should be forced to listen to commentators push biased narratives and shit like that. If we want to hear what they got to say, then we could switch on the commentary. If we don't want to hear what they got to say, then we could just listen to the live crowd and just watch the fight. I really think that should be an option. Jay Cash at ESPN, after they took Max off First Take, gave him the show with a weird ass time slot and wasn't doing well, and they ended up exiting it altogether. He should have did the YouTube shit. I don't think it's too late. I don't know if it was something in his contract that forbidden him to go on YouTube and shit like that. But look, Max, if he put together a little boxing show, he wouldn't have no issue getting no get. That's one of my biggest obstacles, bro. Because I'm not backed by like no big power, like no big media outlet, or you know what I'm saying? Like every interview that I've genuinely got was off of the strength of me or me being close to somebody who's close to that person. That Bomac interview, I was able to get because I knew somebody that did business with them for years. I got a real good connection with that lady, so Michelle Rosado, she was able to get that from me. Mike Fox, I know Mike Fox personally. Cornflake, I know Thomas Lamana, I knew him personally. Bill Haney, he came through off the strength of just scrolling through YouTube. I don't know who else I had on the channel, but Breadman, I know Breadman personally. Like, these guys, I know them. Greg Haggett, I know him personally. Like a lot of this shit just be off the strength of me. You feel me? Max Kellerman won't have any of those issues because he's a highly respected person. You feel me? In boxing, so if they be like, yo, Max Kellerman want an interview, he a fucking legend. To keep it real, Max Kellerman a legend, bro. In the media field, like in the commentary field, he a legend. Like all them HBO situations, like, bro, he done really been around for years. It's sad that, he not really out here doing what he should be doing. Where the fuck is this guy? See, I wrote Max Kellerman. I ain't gonna put his number. Look, I wrote Max Kellerman right there. Hey Max, this is Marcus Rosen with Mazuma TV. Whenever you get the time, I'd love to see when we could possibly get you on the show to talk boxing. Please let me know if or when this could take place. Thank you. Never responded. That was January 18th. I tried. But, I don't know if he's like done with TV. If he's done with boxing, I don't know. I don't know where his head at. I wish he was able to respond so I could know. You feel me? Jay Cash said there may have been some contractual stipulations. I think ESPN finally financially backing Stephen A. Smith YouTube channel, which initially was not doing that well. I don't know. I would love to know though. Jay Cash said when they start doing the ESPN shit, meaning and being loud and controversial, when they start backing them, probably then what makes it still none of his shine. Bro, there's like compilation videos of like Max Kellerman frying Stephen A in debates. I don't know. I think Stephen A just, Stephen A, he a company man. You feel what I'm saying? He been on their sack so long that he get a little leverage in in them offices and shit. So he probably didn't want Max on the show no more. So, he spoke to the powers that be and was able to get him up out of there. Miles Jordan said people can't even call a spade a spade. People for the longest saying Devin got his ass whooped, which he did. The fact is Ryan cheated. Niggas can't even keep it real. That's a fact. People hate Devin Haney so much they willing to overlook that he got beat up by a drug cheat. Like they willing to overlook that just because they dislike him so much. That shit is mind-boggling to me, bro. Like, how could you be so okay with a drug cheat beating up on somebody? You should be outraged. You should be outraged. If you care for the sport. But what this shit showed you is that these boxing fans not really boxing fans, bro. They miserable ass people that are more fans of the fighter than the sport. True fans are fans of the sport before they fans of the individual. How could you say you a boxing fan when in reality you're a boxer's fan? You're not a boxing fan. If you were a boxing fan, that means you are a fan of the sport. No, y'all be fans of the individual. Y'all are a boxer's fan. Y'all not a boxing fan. Definitely man fans. That shit is shameful. Like I said, and I'm gonna always say this, I don't give a fuck how nobody feel. Alicia Baumgartner out here, working with Derrick James. You know what I mean? Everybody else suspicious about, Eddie Reynoso and shit, and they should. But why Derrick James keep why you cool with working with drug cheats and your fighter getting caught with drugs in the system while you training them? What's going on with you, brother? Where your stance at? Because we know he a coon. He don't really stand on no business, but now you like drug cheats are comfortable with being with you. Why is that? They're comfortable being around you. Why is that? Why are they gravitating towards you, brother? You know what I mean? But Alicia Baumgartner team up with Derrick James and you know what I mean? She's showing ass and rocking her hips and all that shit. And niggas like, oh man, yeah, the bomb is back. I'm like, bro, I swear to God, don't nobody stand for nothing out this motherfucker, bro. These niggas cold suckers, bro. Like, really, like real life weenies, bro. Rob said it's crazy how Max, the white guy, would defend black athletes, but Stephen A., who is a black man, will coon. Yeah, bro. That shit is that's crazy to me too. But you know what it is? White people, they could get away with that shit because they got the complexion for the protection. you know, one of the first things they do with black people is see what type of black person they are. Do they stand with their people? Because if they do, they're not gonna want to work with them. And you know, black people be understanding that. So it's like for you to really make it, you got a coon. You feel me? To really make it to the top of the totem pole at any business establishment or whatever, especially when you around them white folk, you pretty much gotta be a coon to make it to the top. Because if you for your people and you stand up for your people, they find that intimidating. So they'll just kick you to the curb. You know what I mean? Max Kellerman, he could have said whatever he wanted. It didn't matter because, you know, he was a white man. But Stephen A., there's a lot of pressure on him to go against his people and shit. He do it without even thinking about it. That's why Terrell Owens told Stephen A., shit, Max Kellerman blacker than you. He was like, oh, no, man, hold on, man. Shit, I'm going to check you right now, brother. Man, you ain't checking shit. You a coon, nigga. Check yourself, nigga. But anyways, I'm going to get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody that came through and showed love to the channel, man. We had some great conversations today. Shout out to the boy Marky Dan for coming through and showing love and providing his opinion and bringing his own little entertaining side as well, man. That shit was funny. I genuinely enjoyed it. You feel what I'm saying? If y'all could go ahead and hit the like button, that'd be very much appreciated. We on the road to 3K, and we about to hit that mid 2,900 mark, man. And the goal is to get to 3K before the summer's up. So let's get it done, y'all. You feel what I mean? Share the video, like the video. Let's get the algorithm on the up so that people know who Mazuma TV is and what he brings to the table. This is the home of boxing excellence, man. Thank you very much. Y'all have a blessed, beautiful night. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.